All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are back to playing Fragged Empire tonight, continuing our infinite gaslighting campaign, and I have put Chuck and Mitra in the wrong space. Now they're in the correct space. So there we go. Everything's fine. Everything's in order. That's weird. I did that right, and then something changed.
Wait. That's not the name of the campaign. That's not the name of the campaign.
Your memory can't be trusted. And besides, you're a cheater anyway. So Melissa's like, so they level up. And Melissa's like, hey, I don't think I could have had this trait that I've had since the very beginning of the campaign. But don't worry, I haven't used it. I'm like, do you know you haven't used it? Like, yeah, maybe not. Ridiculous. God, it's like she doesn't like the campaign, or not the campaign, the command we have with Nightbot that says that she's a cheater, but like over and over we find great evidence for why it is a reasonable command to have.
It is true. And I caught it, and I called it out to everyone of like, hey, so I'm retconning the thing because I caught.
Yeah, that's like you're trying to use that as an alibi or something. If I knew I was, would I have called it out? Like, would I called it out? Like, I think you just did it because you wanted a free retcon, is what you wanted. That's what I think it was.
Because in this system, you actually have to like pay stuff if you want to, like,
did you pay? Did you pay? Because I feel like you should.
You had it in the first phase.
You have like 50 spare time points. You said, which doesn't even make sense.
Well, because like Chuck even dropped the rules and it says like a trained primary skill, and I'm like, words. And then I just went back and read it. I'm like, oh, trained primary skill. It's sort of an important word rules. Right there.
Those silly words with rules in them that you're supposed to follow. The social contract to do your best. Whatever. Yeah. Anyhow, how's everybody doing? Everyone else okay? We good? Anyhow, we're gonna start up again tonight in the wake of the last episode, which kind of threw things a little crazy, as it turns out that many of you, and by many I mean all of you, had been experiencing things incorrectly, or at least you have missing memory, missing time, all that kind of stuff, as the planet Hypnos kind of screwed around with you. And Kill might not be who we think he is. I'm just saying, might not be who we think he is. Might be a Jason Bourne sort of situation going on. Anyhow. But before we do that, let's do some intros, and we're going to do them a little bit more traditionally, because what I would like you to do is I would like you to just say, what did you take? Because everyone leveled up, which means they get so in Frag, the big thing with Frag is you get a new trait. And there's so many different kinds of traits that you can take. And the traits usually correspond to various sections like trained skills or combat skills or attributes, species traits. There's all sorts of things that you can potentially get. And so it really helps define and shape your character. And then like the comboing of those traits over time really lets you grow. So just let us know what you took. Let us know whether or not you cheated when you took it. And we'll kind of go from there. So we're going to start with Zhou, who I can rely upon because I don't think Zhou will cheat. So Zhou, tell us about Zatek and what he took in this level up.
Yeah, playing Zatek, I took management as my new trait under the wealth. Gives me +1 persuasion and culture, but more importantly, whenever I assist people or am assisted, I grant a +2 bonus to the roll instead of the +1.
Oh, it's very good. I like that. It's very team oriented too, because it's not just you getting the bonus, but other people getting the bonuses on top of it. Very, very cool.
Yep.
And you do have wealth as a trained skill.
Is that one of the requirements? Taking a trait?
Joe, you're killing me. Oh my god. Yes, it is. That's why Jita had to fix a trait, because it's got to be trained.
Oh. Well, I didn't take management. I took a different one that I will say later.
I asked the question with full confidence that you were just going to say, "Oh yeah, no problem," and then and then your face, I was like, "Oh shit, this is not right."
Yeah.
Oh,
Zatek is not a wealth guy.
Apparently, that's true. He's a Zhou. Yeah, they're not the most affluent. Okay, think about it. You can come back. Okay. We'll figure it out. We will go to our affluent member, our member of the corp, Maya Divine Mocha. Maitre, tell us about Maya and what she took.
Maya is very heavily trained in wealth, but did not take management. She is your corp socialite, kind of facey, and I took well-traveled, which is a +1 to 3 different stats and -1 to 1. The minus I took was to culture because she's been away for as long as she has and has no idea what's like new and hot anymore. And the pluses I took were electronics, awareness, and stealth.
Excellent. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. You've been gone for basically it will be 6 months essentially by the time you return to Alabaster, because it's about a 4-week travel time for you all. So it's effectively like 6 months. Like the trending topics have changed and changed and changed so often.
Completely.
Like, yeah, I mean, they might have deleted your streaming account in Alabaster.
How dare you?
Well, I can imagine when Maya gets back on her little stream, it's just that Steve Buscemi. Hello, fellow influencers.
She's so out of touch. I don't know. I'm a little worried. Probably lost a lot of followers. Probably other people have taken over.
She is livid / super worried.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out shortly. What's going on? And spoiler alert, it's not good. Next up, Dr. T. Chuck, tell us about Dr. T and what new invasive practices he has this level.
Yeah, I'm Dr. T, not the healer of the group. But the new trait I took was augmented flexibility. It just makes me bend real good and people can't tackle me. I'm real wiggly.
So you're are
more invasive.
You are incredibly invasive on other people and extraordinary elusive when it comes back to you, because you can fly and now you can like bend your stuff and okay.
Just slip under a door frame. I mean,
so the phrase "what's good for the goose is good for the gander." It's just not something that Dr. T subscribes to. No. Okay. I like it. All right.
And I kind of feel like all of the like bending and twisting to do the things and not get caught doing the things has actually gotten you this wriggliness. So like one led to the other.
To get there, I did have to remove a few redundant bones. I mean, it's fine. Didn't need them anyway.
Did you even have bones? I didn't even know you had bones.
There was a couple.
They were.
Well, it was just like
they were
tissue and a bunch of cartilage or something.
It's been
for the flexibility.
You've been doing like forehead implants, right?
I did a few, yeah.
So it looks different now. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I look like handsome Squidward now because of that.
So I dug into some of the lore of Fragged Empire, which I get lost in sometimes, and I get these random trips that I probably shouldn't do, and then I realize, oh shit, I should probably prep. But one of the things is apparently, and I remember reading this a while back, but I remember it now. We've made a lot of jokes about Dr. T maybe being Kill's biological child. If that were the case, there's a really good chance that the Legion would want to apprehend Dr. T, because they do not want the Nephilim breeding with Legion. It is just not a thing, because they are suspicious effectively of what the Nephilim's intentions are in terms of that kind of genetic breeding. So just saying, could be a target on Dr. T's back. Just saying, could be.
Oh no.
Could be.
I mean, Dr. T would be sort of case in point of like, we have concerns. Let us introduce you to our concerns.
All right. Next up, Melissa, the cheater of the group. Please tell us a little bit about Jita and what you have taken, and then we will confirm that it is something that you can actually take.
Yes. So in case anyone is curious, I had, I think, level 2 taken Inner Balance, which was a resolve trait and not trained in resolve. So that would have given me a +1 awareness in astronomy, which I had never actually added to my sheet. So, and then I could have gained a recovery at the end of my turn twice per session, which I think I might have once taken a recovery And that's like the only time that I use that. So that is now crossed out in red on my sheet. And I swapped that for otherworldly, which I think is kind of a cool thing that Twifar and a couple other species can do. So basically, like, I'm weird. So you get a +1 to computers and planets. And then two times per session, I can surprise or enlighten an ally with my mysterious ways. So I can give them a +2 to a failed roll. So basically being like, I've got my weird way of looking at this thing and I can help you fix that. And then I can also do like a strong hit where I can gain +2 personal defense against the next attack made against me before my turn. So again, like I just like go weird and throw them off.
Nice. I like it. We should get like a U2 drop for mysterious ways. Every time you do it, like, boom, just like, you know, we hear Bono go for like 4 seconds, then we cut it so that we can still monetize.
Nice.
There you go. And then what I took for this level up was all out. And so once per personal combat, on my next attack, I get a +3 D6 hit, but all future attacks that combat are a -4 hit. So I just throw all of my energy into one thing and then I'm spent and suck for the rest of it.
So either you can do that like up front to try to shorten the combat, or you do it towards the end with like a last ditch thing. That's cool. I like it. I like it.
Yep. So that is my corrected character sheet.
Excellent. And I will double check everything to make sure. And then finally, Jeremy, tell us about Kill and what Kill took for this level up.
Well, you know, Kill find out he might not be like the really family-friendly paternal figure that he thought he was, and is actually maybe a horrible individual. But he's going to choose to live the lie because he likes the lie better. So I leaned into that. I took a leadership trait called Inspirational. Gives him more command, gives him more resolve, and then anybody within a couple squares of him gets a bonus to attack and damage. So he's just getting better at helping the team.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like you said, command's going up. You're giving bonuses to other people. Maybe it's like you directing, like organizing in there. Excellent. That's good. So if everything goes wrong, like I was saying before, we know who to blame. It'll be Kill because he's in charge, right? That's
right. Always blame me.
I think so. I think it's fair.
I don't feel any shame.
I know. Jeremy doesn't. Like. All right. Let's cycle back. Joe, did you come up with something, or do you want more time? We can have more time. Don't worry about trying to force it.
No, I picked something. I went with an intelligence trait called Educated, where I'm trained in an additional skill because another one of my traits, I didn't have the skill for it because I didn't know that was a requirement. So
I said all those nice things about Joe, definitely not cheating. And not only did he cheat this level,
pretend that I deserve
but them. Prior. I mean, that could have been the difference between you living and dying to Ajax. Like we're just gonna have to start over, guys.
I mean, it wasn't, but yeah.
Okay. So we open up on Miss Pasha 1. We see jungles of fungus everywhere. Jeremy, you got to leave. You weren't here.
Meet boars for the first time again.
No, it's not boars this time. It's something else. I don't know.
Oh no!
It's Niels. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
You know, I like Niels.
It's totally we just invert everything.
Especially if he has synthetic diamonds.
And Zatek and him are just at each other's throats. All right. So quick basic summary, and then we'll sort of jump in. So last time around, we basically resolved finally your time on Hypnos. Hypnos being the plant within the Cerberus system that messes around with memory, that is highly restricted. You all believing that you are on a task specifically assigned by the Legion to go and help rescue Maya's old flame Ajax and some of his soldiers. You were down on Hypnos. But as things kind of turned, as you got taken off the planet by Ajax and various Hoplin enforcers, like it suddenly became this strange revelation that maybe you all were actually there illegally, as some of you were put into a holding cell on the Tyrannus Moon base, and that's where you met a few other people, including Jolan, including our favorite Kaltoran Goro, and various others who told you stories about how you guys apparently were hired to take this group of people who work for Julianus, Sextilianus, Caecilianus, however the hell his name is for it. JSC is how I write it in my notes. And you were actually sent to take them here, and they were specifically hiring you because of like Kill's background as like ex-Legion. Maybe that could help you kind of get in here. And then Kill was taken into a separate room where he was interrogated by multiple Legion, including and then also like a Nephilim doctor that seemed to be on the employ. And it seemed to suggest that Kill, his brain, his memories have been redacted at various points chemically throughout his career, and that he is maybe more than he remembers to be. Often, frequently, Ajax refers to him as partner and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually, when things were looking really bad, and it looked like all of you, with the exception of Kill, were going to be sent to Chiron, there was this essentially a prison planet within the Cerberus system. Ajax decided to give his old friend, his old pal Kill, and his old flame Maya one last favor, and effectively broke them out and got them to leave Tyrannus Moon. He'll let you recover a couple of crates that some of the security had taken and dropped in the interdiction office, and then you all got on your ship. He cleared the runway effectively for you, messed around with communications, gave you some codes to get through Cerberus security, and you all took off with one final little flourish of coolness by Ajax towards Maya. And that's where we're going to basically pick up. We're going to say that you all make it out of the Cerberus system. You have a variety of codes. Remember, going through that giant ley storm that surrounds the system, there are these navigational buoys. And if you have certain codes, you kind of know where to go and you can travel through them because there isn't a gate that gets you in. And so we'll say that's where we pick up with you all for the next few weeks, traveling through the ley storm, traveling back to the Haven system, where it's sort of like the de facto like home base for you all. And we'll say this is within a couple of days after you all have left. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Is there anything that you all do in the days following your escape from Tyrannus Moon, your escape from Hypnos, and your escape from Cerberus? Is there anything you all do as you get back on the ship?
I'm very injured. I need attention.
Yeah. I feel like there's a line by Dr. T's like area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just be a puddle in my bed for a while when you get to me.
Absolutely. We can totally. So we'll say that Dr. T is going to start doing some medical tests on folks and trying to help prepare. I think Zatek's got the worst of it. Maya's also down a few, and I think Jita as well. So we can do a little bit of that. What else are people doing on the ship in addition to that?
So, well, you can go ahead.
No, I was gonna just say that I would like to get everyone together and be like, 5 months? What the fuck? What the fuck, guys?
I mean, it feels just like yesterday.
It does, right? It just feels like a few days.
This is not.
I feel a lot worse.
You are unrecognizable, Zatek, in fact.
Yeah.
Kel, what did they say to you?
Nothing important. Ajax just took care of you because you were important, and you know that Kel's a terrible liar.
Yeah, so Maya is very clearly not believing him, and not hiding that she doesn't believe him.
Look, I don't know. They told me I was bringing you on to do a job different than the job I thought I was doing, and I guess they've turned my brain into soup and reconstructed it several times, and I'm probably a jigsaw puzzle with a couple pieces short, and that's fine. It's no big deal. I'm not going to focus on that. Did you notice our armory got destroyed, and I need to fix that? And there was some asshole got into a duel with a couple of flaming pistols over in the command room. I don't know who would do that. I should probably go fix that.
No, wait.
That's
So
fine.
did-
The important thing is, Ajax remembered you and took care of you, right? And everything
I mean,
else
that's
is
great for
fine.
her, but were we being used?
Maybe.
Like, we're just experiments? We're just disposable, expendable experiments?
Well, I think if we were experiments, they would have tried harder to keep us locked up under control.
I feel even more expendable with that explanation.
I mean, I guess it's short of it.
Yeah. So good news. They really didn't care that much about us.
Maybe that means they won't care enough to come chase us down and murder us in our sleep.
I mean, we should definitely
Why
stay
did we go
far
down
away
there
from
again?
Why did we what?
Why did we
I
go
mean, does
down
it even
there?
matter why
So-
we think we went down there? Because we were clearly completely lied to, and why we thought we went down there is not what was
Zatek.
happening.
Yeah.
As Zatek asks that question, you guys hear the comms open up on your ship, and you hear a voice that says, "My records suggest that you went down onto planet Hypnos to help support a mission objective from a recent, like job giver or something like that.
Mhm.
You were hired," and then kind of just goes through the whole list. Like, you were hired in the Haven system. On it, like, lists a date and kind of goes through this, and everyone just sort of jumps because you, as far as
Say,
you
I
all
don't-
remember.
The ship didn't
Hello?
start before.
Hello, Zatek. It is good to hear
What?
your voice.
What the hell is that?
Hi, ship. What's your name?
I am Sateas. It is good to see you. Well, to
Oh.
hear you. I do not have my optical emitters yet.
Where are you right now?
I don't understand the question. I am here.
You're the ship.
I am the ship.
Zatek, we're inside your friend.
Cool.
Wait,
It is
You
good to
weren't-
hear
but-
your humor again, Dr. T. I have missed it all these months.
but you weren't the ship before, or were you the ship before?
I have been the ship for approximately seven months and 6 cycles, ever since my body was destroyed, and you have promised to recover a new one for me.
Oh, thank you for reminding us of that promise so that we can fulfill it.
I am sure
Wait,
you have done it
Zatek, I
in
thought you
time.
said this was your friend. You're
It is, but he's
You-
Palantor. He gets. He's computer. Ship's computer.
But was that not the body we found?
Well, yeah, I think he died, or that body probably died a long time ago, and I guess we got him out at some point and put him on the ship. Is that right, Status?
Yeah.
I do not understand the question. For some time, there was a second Palantor, Tiv-7, who spent time aboard the ship. We discussed many things. It was a pleasure to actually speak with another Palantor for such a short time. I see that Tiv-7 is not among your number. Will they be joining us in the future?
Probably not. Never mind. I got more memories to remember.
Yeah, this is why whenever I can't deal with a problem with a gun, I just bury my hand in the sand with more work.
Yeah, yes, I can definitely see how that would make sense. I am quite distressed by all of this, and I'm going to need to spend a lot of time in
Oh,
meditation because I have a whole other. There's not just one of me. There's 2 of me, and we didn't work together as effectively as we could have. I could have kept some type of chronology or something. Like, and she's sort of like having this like. She's very upset about the situation and feels like maybe like the Farron could have somehow helped in like the time stuff that happened, and like she feels like she's got to really focus on like getting better connected with the
Right.
Farron, so that maybe if there were some other screwery like this happening again, that like her Farron might be better able to like
So,
communicate, Danger Will Robinson kind of things.
does that mean we need to get more of those mixed drinks, but maybe we limit it to just like 2 or 3?
No, I believe that for at least the duration of our travel, I need to be, Dr. T. I appreciate your assistance in this recovery process. But after that, I don't think you're going to see me again until we get where we're going. We need to be in better tandem. This is unacceptable.
And then before you go, Jita, kill. What else did they say to you?
Just hunting down people that left the Legion and, that sort of thing, and maybe presenting myself like I was a viable option to be recruited, even though I was actually like undercover, but without knowing I was undercover because my brain is Swiss cheese, and I don't really know.
You were undercover?
I think so, but it was like double cover because it was like, what's that one game called where you do blind nil? Where you're doing something without knowing you're doing something? Or maybe I just forgot
I
I
have
was
no
doing
idea
something.
what the fuck you're talking about. You were undercover?
This is why I just want to go fix things, because I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me.
Which level of cover is Maya's mom? Is that like actual kill or undercover kill or undercover?
My
for being
mom. What
undercover?
does my mom
I
have
don't-
to do
so-
with anything?
Nothing.
But because I got to
nothing.
figure out which version of kill is your actual father. Is it like the kill or like?
Neither.
Are you like
There's
secretly
no
a
version of
government
kill
ops?
that is my father.
Okay, here's the thing. I used to think I had this nice, neat story where her mom got too busy and she hooked up with some corporate dude and I got kicked to the wayside. Boo-hoo, poor little mercenary. But the real deal is I was probably some piece of shit in my own right, and I don't really like thinking about that. So I'm just going to focus on being this kill, and I don't know who that piece of shit was, and I don't want to think about that piece of shit. I just want to be this person right now. And mostly this person right now just wants to go fix some shit and stop thinking about that bullshit.
Yeah, we don't know who that was either. We like this one. So
Hey, thank you.
But question before you go and do that. So talking about no offense intended here, but talking about levels of piece of shit.
Yeah.
Were you like the level of piece of shit that like
lasagna.
sold us out to go do this stuff? Like, did you say like, hey, I got some suckers with me, like you can just go do this stuff with them? Or were you like
I don't know. Maybe.
looped in with
You
I don't know. And there's a strong maybe there.
You wouldn't do that. No, Kill wouldn't do that. That's not Kill. That's not who he is.
The thing is, like, to get shit done, Volp agents are kind of really shitty people.
No,
Then I may have been that. Maybe I am.
No. Wait,
Yep.
back up.
Yeah.
Back up. Who's a Volp agent?
Nobody.
Then why did you mention them?
I don't know, because I
You
want this
were a Volp
conversation
agent.
to be
You a Volp
over really
agent?
bad, because
What's a Volp agent?
Okay,
Yeah.
so like narratively, I imagine Maya's knowledge of Volp agents is sort of like you kind of know the NSA exists and you know that they're like big badasses, but you don't actually know like what they do. You just have
that makes
this
sense.
vague idea of like deep state black ops.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
remember how sometimes
So,
there's that like invisible
That's
piece of
what
shit
she
that I
answers
hated?
to Zatek. It's just like Volp is Legion Black Ops, essentially.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that I might have done that. And I don't know if I did or I didn't. So, if I did, I'm sorry. And,
You're a Volp agent?
no, I'm not. I might have been. I don't
Was
think.
Ajax
they've clearly
a Volp agent?
fired you now.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Ajax is hot
He's just a
shit. Like,
little
he's
bitter.
like, he's somebody
Ajax
pretty
is
important.
I mean,
no,
if Kill's
Ajax.
a Volp
Ajax
agent,
is just some Legion soldier. He's not.
No. So, I'm just the tired, grumpy old man that wants to go fall asleep in my chair, and I'm going to go fix all the stuff that somebody else burned, not me, because I don't create all of our problems.
Dr. T,
Did all
are
the
you
other
done
people that were traveling with
me?
us leave their stuff behind?
Okay, so
I
a few
got
things. Yeah. So first of all, Dr. T, you're missing a lot of your equipment because it was confiscated when you were brought. Like all of you are missing a lot. Like you have your clothes, but besides that, like weapons, basic equipment, handheld devices, that all was taken from you, put into those crates that you retrieved from the interdiction office, and you have it in your cargo bay, right? So all that was basic. So all of this conversation is probably likely happening at some point, either on the bridge or wherever. But anyone who feels like they would be looking or kind of being observant, go ahead and roll an awareness test. Difficulty 12 is fine, and anyone can roll it that wants to roll it. If you don't feel like it's really just like during the initial time that you've been on the ship in this couple of hours.
Awesome. Or so. I get to use my fancy new +1.
Ooh, very nice.
I actually got a 14 because I rolled a 6 and got to re-roll a 2.
Okay.
So mine is a 19.
Excellent. Okay. You accidentally float out an airlock. Whoops. Oh, jeez.
Turns out that was his eye bone that he removed.
Get that roll out of the way for this, not a healing roll.
Classic Chuck and Fragged. It's so crazy. Do you actually roll 3d6? Do you know it's 3, right?
I rolled 3d6. I rolled 3 3s, and I have a -2.
Oh, God. Okay.
-2 awareness?
Yeah.
Oh,
pay attention to things.
Who all passed? Who all passed? Zajita, Maya. Okay. And then
I feel like
Dr.
Zatek's not even making the roll.
Okay, so Zatek is okay. That's fine. Okay, so a couple of things. So we'll say that this conversation is happening as you guys are like moving around, maybe checking the ship, whatever it might be. You've noticed a few things kind of out of there. Like once or twice, you like almost trip over like a grate that's kind of sticking up out of the floor, or like you miss a step because your timing isn't quite off, or like you make a left and you think you're going in sort of one direction, but you realize you're going in another. All of it kind of feels a little strange. And then you also, as you kind of go into the Arboretum, you kind of check in on your various places, and you notice that in the Arboretum, there's been immense plant growth, like just absolutely immense plant growth. And it's almost blinding as you come in here, as there's all these bioluminescent plants. And none of you really remember planting that are blooming in here. And it almost, you have to like cover your eyes, almost put on a pair of sunglasses. And not only that, but you hear like a skittering inside the Arboretum as you come in. So that's one thing that happens. So we'll start with that. So we'll say there you are. You're in that kind of the main concourse in the middle of your ship that kind of connects bridge to Arboretum to living quarters. It's kind of all kind of connected through there. And a few of you, we'll say Amaya and Jita, are being blinded by the plants, and you hear something skittering and moving around inside your Arboretum.
If I weren't in such a shit mood, I would think it's like pretty in here, but I'm not, so it's not. And why the hell are things moving around?
Listen, I think you're about to be in a way better mood, because I think I know what that noise is.
Would you like to enlighten me?
Franklin had babies.
You hear the intercom speak up. That is not entirely inaccurate, Dr. T. However, Franklin is currently in a cryopod as per your instructions.
What is
Are
that
turtles
skittering?
frozen?
So Maya, with your 19, as you kind of squint, I'll say you even see it better. You see a creature moving about, and I will share it with you all. It is fairly small. It's like kind of a part cat, part gerbil. It has these little stalks coming out of its forehead, almost like these echolocation stalks with these big black glassy eyes. It looks utterly adorable, but you see it at this point as it's kind of hiding underneath one of the tables in your Arboretum, atop of which there's all these plants, and you can see it's kind of hiding, and it's a little bit nervous as it's looking at you. Anybody who sees this, so I'll say Maya, Jita, probably the two of you, can roll culture if you want to try to identify what this creature is. Planets is okay too, but that would be like a 14. So for me, it's more of a culture.
Oh.
I had no idea the baby turtles had that much.
I rolled an 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
I rolled a 6.
Okay.
They must slow down as they get older.
I think they do.
You take a look at it again. It's not very big, and it looks really timid and nervous and scared right now. And it's underneath the table. But as you look at it, you don't really know what it is. You're not entirely sure. The memory of it isn't kind of clicking for you between the two of you yet, but it's still nonetheless there. You can see it looks a little feral, like it's a little bit like it's been through some time. It's like a cat that you've kind of like left unattended. You went out of town for like 2 weeks and you come back and like you're like, oh shit, that's right. And like that's kind of has that feel to it.
Let's name him Goro.
Yeah, Maya's immediately like turn out.
Okay.
Adorable.
It is.
I don't know what it is though.
And anybody else who then goes and sees it, you're also now welcome to roll a culture roll if you would like to try to identify what it is. Yeah, it's going to be culture is the ideal thing to roll here for what I'm doing with this.
I mean, that's not.
I am trained in that now.
I'm showing it to everybody on the stream.
Oh, it's so adorable.
It is. If only you knew that sitting next to it on that same picture is a hardcore Telatl pirate, but nonetheless.
I got a 15.
Okay.
I got a 14.
Zatek and Dr. T, you both pass. Kill, did you roll?
Yeah, I got an 8.
Okay. Dr. T, Zatek, both of you recognize exactly what this is. This is what's called a memling. And it is very much, it's a pet. And they're safe. They don't really harm you. But what they really are is they are. And when you called it Goro, it kind of makes sense because these are Kaltorans. Like they're like Kaltorans. They breed them. They're sort of like a biogenetic development. Because what they do is they help Kaltorans crystallize their memory. They have this kind of chemical projection that kind of helps Kaltorans like crystallize their memories of their ancestors a little bit better. And so these are common pets for Kaltorans. And you had a Kaltoran on your ship for some time. And now there's his little pet.
Yeah, let's call him Goro, guys. Little baby Goro.
So is this little thing going to be missing Tiv?
Why would it miss Tiv?
No, it'd be missing Goro, I think.
Okay.
Missing Goro.
Yeah, Tiv's the robot guy that's not coming back.
Anyway, it's our pet now.
Alendor.
His name is Goro Jr., and he is adorable. And I will go pick him up.
Yeah, Maya's pissing at
Dr. T. Dr. T, go ahead and give me a, let's call it, if you just want to grab them, then we'll just call it a physical. But if you want to kind of do it in like a gentle, coaxing kind of way, then we'll call it like...
Use your new wriggliness to be like cute.
We'll call it like psychology. One of those two, depending on your tact here.
I am good at psychology, but physical sounds more fun. I just go grab it.
Oh, no.
Give it a go.
Maya and Gita are both like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, that roll.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Holy crap, that's a bad roll.
So
get it all out now before you have to heal us.
There's no getting it out. This is just where it's at.
As you go to try to get this creature, Goro Jr., and you're trying to get your tentacles underneath this table, they dart away and they move so fast as you try to shift and grab them, you bump into the table. And the table, what it does, it kind of shakes the plants that are on top of it. And as these plants shake, they just brighten and blossom even further, and they create this blinding effect. So Dr. T, your unexpected consequence is that you are blind effectively for the foreseeable future. It'll go away eventually, but you're going to be effectively blind, which is going to have penalties on any visually related tests that you make in the near future.
You mean like
It's
healing?
fine. I can
He never
heal.
looks always to me.
I can heal by sense of hearing, like the body just whispers to me where I need to cut. It's fine.
Although that nighttime stuff, you're used to kind of working in low light anyway.
Anyway.
You scared it away.
I would never. Obviously, Goro Jr.'s just kind of an asshole.
Clearly, that's the conclusion.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So it's hiding somewhere in here, we'll say. You know where it's at. You know what it looks like. You're welcome to hang around and try to grab it. Otherwise, like, this is one of the first things that, like, kind of stopped you as you're moving about. You still don't have any of your items. You still don't have any of your equipment. There's still lots of things to see on the ship. You do notice, like, as you're moving around, that they're definitely, like, in answer to one of Zatek's questions from a little while ago, you do see some of the belongings of, you know, people that clearly aren't yours. Like, you see stuff that more than likely a Palantir would probably carry, and you see some Kaltoran stuff here and there, some like that kind of slapstick kind of thrown together tech that is not fairly common. Like, you see like a hammock is sort of crossed in one of these areas that you can tell is probably was where Goro was sleeping, stuff like that. So you're definitely seeing remnants of this these groups of people that you escorted across the system. What else do you do?
Be blind.
Just bump it in the walls.
Ah!
And the funny thing is that Goro Jr. does have echolocation antenna and probably could actually help with that. But
that's funny.
All right, what else are we all doing as you try to get familiar once more with your ship?
I mean,
I definitely still want to get healed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead with the healing.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just going to say I want to get healed up and then sort of immediately check on, like, stream and stuff.
Okay.
Well, let's go get you patched up as I'm, like, facing a wall talking at you.
Okay. So, probably, even though you have a medical workshop, you probably still want your med kit, your toolbox, and all that kind of stuff. And so you have those crates in the cargo bay. So we'll say that you and Maya leading the way, maybe you bumping in the walls, head back there. Anybody else who wants to come to you, you're welcome. And eventually you find, Maya, that there are a couple of these large sort of Legion, like a Legion insignia on it for Tyrannus Moon Base specifically. Like, you can see the insignia on the side. And when you open up those crates, they're not locked or anything like that. They're pretty standard cargo crates and such. You can see, when you look in, there's some of your material, like some of your equipment. You can see your guns, your weapons, like all of this stuff looks very familiar. Anything that was on your character sheets in terms of weapons or equipment that you purchased, you certainly find it here. But you also notice, strangely enough, Maya, as you try to maneuver these things around, they're very heavy. And when you open them up, you realize one of the reasons they are is because they are filled, in addition to your equipment, with very large, dusty-looking rocks. There's just tons of them.
Okay, I'm gonna look through them and see what if I recognize what the rocks are, or if they're covering something, or what.
Okay, so are you just you're just kind of taking a look at them, just physical observation?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, there's limited info you'd get on this, but I would say it's gonna probably be you can do awareness, but there's a limit to what you might learn. And then the rest of you, Kill, Zatek, Jita, just shout out, whenever there's a space, where you're at, where you're going, that kind of thing.
14.
Okay. When you pick one up, maybe the weight of it, the mass of it, feels a little off. At first glance, it seems fairly benign. It just seems like a rock. There's really nothing to it. It's kind of grayish blue tints here and there. But as you pick it up and hold it, you realize the weight feels a little different. Even some of the really big ones that you'd expect to be heavier aren't necessarily heavier. And maybe as you kind of tap against one of them, it feels hollow. There's space on the inside. Kind of like when you open, and you can tell sometimes when you have a coconut, there's this weird dull thud. It kind of has that feel to it, as if there's a hollowed portion on the inside of it. But at first glance, and if anybody is not really paying attention or really inspecting it, it would probably just look like rocks to you.
I'm gonna break one open if I can, if it feels hollow, because my instinct is to see what's inside, if there's anything inside.
What else do you do?
Before she does that, can I look at it with my bio lens?
Look at one of the other ones. I'm breaking this one. Look at one of the other ones.
So the bio thing, that wasn't an item, right? That was like a cybernetic or something.
It's a trinket sensor that lets me see outlines of living things. So does this register as living?
Well, the thing is, would this have been something that they might have confiscated from you, or is this something embedded onto your person?
Because
they wouldn't have taken. Okay, they wouldn't have taken your mask. They're not that disrespectful. Okay, so when you look at this, a few things I'm just going to give you because you have the you don't have to roll. So first of all, it's definitely not living. There's no signs of anything being alive here. But you also notice like you have that weird kind of X-ray ability, don't you? Is that the same thing? Mm-hmm. There's like a null space inside, as if something's kind of cloaked on the inside, and you can't see what it is. As if there's like, as someone has like anti kind of sort of some kind of anti X-ray tech inside the rock. And when you look into the crate, it's the same thing. Like all of them are like that. And then you're looking at that while Maya is like just trying to crack one open. Maya, give me a physical test as you try. Just difficulty 12.
These look really weird. They're not registering as live, but they're also not registering as anything. So I don't know what that means.
All right. How'd you do?
I'm going to use an audience size to rule one of my days.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Also, while this is happening, I want to ask Sateas, did we check in at all when we were down on the planet? Like, did you land there with us? And then, like, what happened? We don't really remember the last 5 months.
You stayed in contact with me for approximately 4 days after touchdown. Sporadically, I sent out messages, but they were never returned. Eventually, after approximately 3 weeks, the ship was recovered by Legion personnel and taken to Tyrannus Moon. I have been effectively in dry dock since then. Several Legion did make a careful study of our interior, but strangely did not remove any items.
Okay. Did they put anything on our ship, like a tracker or anything? Did you see them try to install anything or mess with stuff?
There were several times in which my ability to identify where and what they were doing was inhibited by some sort of technological equipment that they seem to have set up. However, I can tell you there does not appear to be any current tracking systems. But it is possible that during my dormant period, they did in fact provide something.
Okay. And then I'll try and ask them for like a rough layout of like when he lost contact with people as he was watching them.
And he gives you like a full a full breakdown. And essentially they went all throughout the ship. They went into some of the vents and things like that, into the guts of it. They didn't really take anything apart according to him, but they did just sort of do an inspection. And then and you can see that there's some mess. Like you can see especially when you go into like the personal quarters and things like that, it definitely looks like it was tossed, like, like by cops or something. And then other places like your little shared kitchen area and stuff, things like that have been tossed. But a lot of like the technical spaces, it doesn't seem like they did any damage to consoles or anything like that. All of that still seems intact. It's loose stuff that seems a little bit kind of torn around. Okay, let's go back to Maya. Maya, how'd you do on your physical?
I failed with a 10.
You start smashing it and kind of smashing it, and each time you do, like you expect it to break away, but it just doesn't. But you're confident there's something inside, because even when you're moving it quickly, you can feel as if something almost kind of slotted ever so slightly. It kind of hit like the palm of your hand. You know there's something in here. You're 100% certain.
Kill. I'm yelling for kill. Kill.
Okay.
What? Kill, meanwhile, has
break
snuck.
this.
Where have you snuck, Kill?
Well, so Kill recognizes this poor creature's stress and desire to run and hide in a quiet place, given our new situation.
Goro Jr., yeah.
Yeah, so Kill will go for what seems to be like a nice, quiet corner of the ship, get a bowl, pour some food in it, and kind of do like some short but recognizable pinging sound, trying to set up a routine for kind of like a Pavlovian sort of thing. Like,
You're trying to like lure the memory thing? Okay.
And he knows it might not work now, but he figures if he's consistent about it, he finds a nice quiet spot to start setting up food, make kind of like a little tinging pattern, and maybe it'll set up a routine that it'll follow and chill over time.
I'll tell you what, give me a psychology roll, give yourself a +2. That's a really cool plan. There's no like, so we'll say psychology because you really are trying to like calm it and like lure it into a sense of security.
Okay. Well, inspirational actually gave me a +1 to psychology as well. I just didn't think I would actually roll it.
Awesome.
Nice.
I'm actually in the positive at the moment.
Wow.
Can't believe it.
Makes me
It's
so
like
happy
a-
that all the boys have like a little pet.
Yeah.
Zatek has Boris and Chuck has Franklin, and now
That's not bad.
he's gonna have Boris.
intelligent creature. How dare
I'm sorry. Oh, I don't have the earbud. I can't hear the indignation.
Oh my god, the epithets. It's just left and right.
Well, thanks to the bonus.
pig.
I think now that we're on the ship, I'm like relaying his broadcast through mine.
I'm sorry, Kill. How did you do?
With the bonus, that gets me up to a 14.
Okay, I will say that as it is very hungry, like maybe you leave the door open to the arboretum, and you kind of do some tinking, and you think maybe you lure it to, like you have your own little like by the turret area, so maybe you lure it up there, we'll say, and you see this tiny little furry creature like climb over through, like we have like I think of it like submarine doors, right? Because there's that like and like hops over and kind of looks at you gently and then kind of waits to see if you just stay there and maybe you back away a couple steps.
Kind of stare away from it, basically.
And you just hear, and you look down and it is going to town on whatever you put in the bowl. The other thing you notice while you're in here, Kill, is that you see hanging on the back of the door, into your little area here, there is a trench coat. It's just kind of hanging there, nice and clean. And that's when you hear a message from Maya calling for your help down in the cargo bay.
All right. Well, that thing seemed pretty hungry. Just gonna ration that a little bit more, but a couple more kibbles for it won't hurt, and then just go meandering off. See what he screwed up now.
Okay. So we'll say Kill joins whoever else was still in the cargo area. And Kill, give me a physical roll if you want to give this a try. And anybody else who wants to try to break it open, it's just a physical test, difficulty 12. No big deal.
I'll assist with that.
That's fine. Yeah. And if you want to try a different way of opening it, that's fine too. This is just purely like just trying to crack it like it's an egg.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm investigating.
Maya's approach is always the directive, unnuanced one.
Okay. Dr. T is hammering it. You find like a hammer in the cargo bay. Just start.
No, I'm still blind. I accidentally found a hammer and presumed these were the rocks everyone was talking about.
You trying to open it up? This won't open up. I don't understand.
It's so weird shaped.
Oh goodness. All right. What are the rolls? Whoever rolled. So Kill. How'd you do?
13.
13. Okay, you're gonna open one. All right. Zatek, were you trying to help somebody or open one yourself?
I was assisting Kill.
Okay, so 14. Did you pass with your 10? Your TN10?
I don't know which one I'm rolling to assist because I was maybe awareness because I was gonna try and relay like where the hollow spot is.
Yeah. Like the assist doesn't have to be the same skill. Like it could be some other way that you're contributing. Okay.
Yeah, I got a 17.
Okay. So I'll say what this will do is with between your assist and Kill's hard work, you kind of figure out like there are almost imperceptible seams. Like they look just like the jagged sections of rocks, but as you realize when you're looking at it and Kill's messing around with it, like they actually are seamed, as if this has been encapsulated in something. And what I'll say is moving forward, like you can kind of, with that knowledge, it's now easier to start cracking stuff open. And like one by one, you're able to each time. It takes a little bit of time, but you can start cracking them open. But the first one that Kill, you open in, you see that there is an orb inside. It is roughly the shape of a grapefruit. So a couple inches in circumference, right? And you can see as it's sitting there, and the rock splits almost perfectly, like symmetrically. And there's this little interior point, like you're opening an avocado. And there is this orb. And just looking at it, it just first looks like this dull gray orb, like nothing to it. But like if you touch it or if your hand gets close to it, you can see that it begins to glow. And as it does, you start to see, not only does it like backlight glow, but you start to see that there is like an overlay of these little lines in like a honeycomb pattern that wraps around the entirety of the orb itself. It's very cool. It also feels very fragile, Kill. So it's like you would be careful of kind of don't throw this across the room kind of deal.
This thing seems important. I think somebody else should take it.
The stuff that pops up on it, does it look like modern tech, Mondian tech? Like what kind of vibes do we get from it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So it's going to take you some time to study this. So this would be an electronics roll. And it would be a difficulty of 14, and it also require a spare time point for you to really dig into this. So it's literally like taking like a couple of days or so to really give this a study if you wanted to. So it's not something you would basically get answers right away. But I will say this, that when you mess around with it, just instinctively, and you're just kind of holding it, you take it from Kill maybe, and you just sort of poke at it a little bit, like you definitely see there is reaction when you press certain places, and little lights begin to glow within each subsection of honeycomb. And not only that, it also seems to emit sounds every now and then, these like low hums, these notes, but your first attempts at it, there's no pattern to it. It actually even sounds almost like atonal or out of tune in some way. You're not sure if it's an instrument or if it's just like an interface response. It's not haptic because you're not feeling anything. It's just the sound. But you figure like if you give it some study, you give it some time, you might be able to figure out how this works.
I got a 15 on that. So
okay,
whenever we get back to that,
sure, we'll cycle back to that. But if people want to start opening up other stuff, we certainly can, now that you've kind of figured out the trick. So let's see. Maya, would you continue to try to open up some stuff?
I think so. I'm the intention is to try and get to Harty's stuff to get.
Oh no, your stuff's there. Your equipment's there. Yeah, you see the equipment.
Okay,
this is
just, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Then yes, just going through his stuff.
Okay. Okay, so is anyone trying to open stuff? Is anyone trying to open these, like crack these strange rocky eggs? Is anyone doing that?
Does it look like they can be put back together after we open them?
It doesn't seem like it as you try to like kind of like just put two sides together. They don't like adhere. There might be something to it. You're not sure yet. Like the chemical composition of like whatever this encased thing is, it doesn't really look, now that you kind of crack it open, it doesn't, like the interior of it doesn't look like the exterior rock. It certainly looks like this is like a fake compartment.
Okay, so these are like made for smuggling is what we get the impression of, maybe.
Possibly. Okay. All right, so what else are we doing?
So I would say that Jita had left and she was going to try to corral the cute little creature, and then saw that Kill was doing that and did not want to then do it when Kill was doing it. And so she then would have gone to her like workspace area just to see what changed or different or sort of got messed with that she doesn't recall from her little workspace.
Okay, so like the astrometrics lab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, you head into the astrometrist lab, and everything, as far as you can tell, looks as though it's how you remember it. Like the basic central panel in the center, you can see like this holographic display pops up as you start interacting with it. It doesn't look like anyone's really logged in or messed with these controls for quite some time. Like you can see like the physical inputs, like they seem a little sluggish as you mess with them. But as far as you can tell, everything looks fine.
Okay. Then she'll kind of continue around the ship because it seems like people are kind of spending a lot of time with those particular crates. So then she'll like expand her search for things that look different to her.
Okay, give me an awareness test.
Okie doke. Not particularly aware.
It's fine, just a difficulty tool.
All right, so that's a 6 and 2 ones. So I'll reroll one of the ones with my 6.
Gotcha.
And get another 6. And then I'll
Nice.
reroll the other one and get a 3. So that's 15, 14.
Okay. You move about. You know that most of them are in the cargo bay getting their stuff back. Zatek seems to be particularly interested in something. The kill just cracked open. And as you're moving around, you find yourself like going from one place to the next. You find some of the bunks, it looks like things were shared. Like people, like things are quite the same. You can even find like occasional like little trinkets of things, like an image here, like a necklace kind of hanging from a little hook on the wall there that doesn't look too familiar. Maybe it's somebody else's, but you don't recall anyone wearing it. You go into some of like the kitchen and the bath area, and you can see like there's like product in there that doesn't quite make sense. But you eventually find yourself towards the front of the ship, and where you have your kind of your stasis, your cryo pod, and all the pods are open and unused except for one. And when you peer inside, you see a beautiful and peacefully sleeping Franklin, the large turtle-like creature that you had discovered in that coastal underwater facility back on Mishpasha. And there's something, though, extremely different about Franklin. And you can see that even though he's peacefully sleeping, even though he seems in good health, you see that there appears to be a smaller second head that has started to emerge from its neck area as if it's growing a second head.
Oh, dear.
Babies.
Oh my. And sort of she looks at that and considers it, and she was sort of avoiding everyone for a little bit, but then kind of at that she sighs and kind of goes back over to Dr. T and just sees him like whacking a hammer against a hard surface, like he's trying to break said hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. T, would you mind stopping that for just a second?
Sure. I got to get this rock open eventually, though. I don't want to fall behind the others.
You have a hammer in your hand. You're not hitting any rock. There's no rocks. You're in the hallway by yourself with a hammer and a wall and a nice big hole in the wall, actually, that someone will need to fix. Can you not see things right now?
No, I'm pretty blind at the moment. The weird baby turtle thing like activated its photon emitters, and like I'm on like reverse John Cena over here. I can't see a thing.
Oh goodness, all those plants got real bright.
They did. But it's fine. As soon as we find my kit, I can start patching you all up.
So that wasn't a turtle that we saw. It was a very different creature than a turtle. I think it was a little more like a cat than a turtle. But speaking of turtle, that's actually why I'm here. I was going to show you something, but you can't see it. So, well, that's going to make that a little bit difficult. So up in cryo is Franklin.
Yeah.
But do you have any recollection of Franklin adding some things to himself, or you adding things to him?
I don't, but I definitely wouldn't put the second one outside of the realm of possibility.
Right. So Franklin is in cryo, and Franklin has another head growing out of where heads come out of. But usually there's one head, not more than one head, and now there's more than one head.
Situation.
So I maybe don't do anything about it until you can actually see it.
Oh, it's too late. I don't even need to see it. I already know exactly what I have to do about it.
But maybe you should wait to
Harriet.
do. Well, names are good. Naming things is good. But maybe once you get your eyesight back, might add it to your to-do list. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You're not going to keep hitting the hammer into the wall, right?
So you're telling me
Please?
this isn't a rock?
It's a hammer, and she'll sort of like move a couple of your tentacles around so that you can feel like the hammer head and the handle, and like see hammer handle.
Makes a lot more sense that way.
Yes. I unless you were intending to hammer a really big hole in the wall, maybe
So,
we
funny
find
thing.
somewhere for you to relax.
Funny thing, Dr. T's been hammering the hammer into the wall.
Yeah.
And you realize as you come over, you take it from him, you realize that the panel, the wall panel in this cargo area that he's been slamming this hammer against has kind of come loose. And you can see that there seems to be a hollow section behind it, Jita.
Oh, well, that's sort of funny. Dr. T, it looks like you might have done something useful here after all.
A broken clock and all, but yeah, I meant to do that.
Sure. Here. And so she'll sort of guide your tentacles to like a part of this panel. On 3, we'll pull together and we'll see what's behind here. On 3, okay?
Yeah.
All right. And then she just, because she's sort of in a mood, she's just like, 3. Like there's no count up to it.
Okay. So what you find is some kind of smuggling compartment. And that sounds vaguely familiar now that you think about it. Maybe you've always had this. But you also see that there are about a dozen crates or so in here, unmarked, that you can tell, that are all kind of hidden away behind this panel in your cargo bay.
I don't remember that.
Wow.
Well,
This losing your memory thing is really shitty, I have to say. Like, it's just so disorienting.
and I mean,
Hey guys, Zateus was telling me that there was a bunch of people on our ship and they were hiding or doing stuff, and we should go find it.
we found it. And if I know anything, in a hidden compartment behind the wall, that's where you hide the drugs. And I'll just go on in.
Okay. You pull, say you open up you pull out one of these crates. They open up easy. You can't see this, Dr. T, but your tentacles can feel it. Jita, what you see are like in one of these crates, like dozens and dozens of these small, colorful, bird-like creature. They all have like these orange sort of flat beaks. They all are like their heads sticky up. It's kind of a rounded head. The first one you pull out is mostly yellow with like an orange like beak or something, and you can see that there's like little wings on the side, and it's got this kind of like cushiness to it. And as you squeeze it a little bit, like there's a little squeak, and you look down and you can see there's a couple dozen more, and they're all similar. Except they all seem to have slightly different decorations to them. Like some of them are wearing like little hats. You can see others are like wearing like little capes. And you can see even a few are kind of glow in the dark, as they're kind of glowing a little bit here and there.
Dr. T, I am so sad that you don't have use of your eyes right now. If you thought that other creature was adorable, these birds that were in the wall are like 10 times more adorable than that was. It's a little hat. And she'll like take one of your tentacles to like feel like the little tiny hat.
It's a nice little hat, but why would they put stuffed animals in the walls?
Living, alive, right?
Are they alive?
Oh, they're not alive. No.
Yeah,
they're-
why would they
Oh.
put stuffed animals in the walls?
Do
Do
I
they
don't-
squeak?
Some of them do. in
One
fact.
of them does, and
Some of
she'll
them
like hold it
squeak.
real close to your ear and squeak it.
Oh god, now I can't hear.
Some of them squeak. Others, the head bobbles a little bit and they're kind of standing upright.
I don't. This seems like a Maya question. I don't understand the money making things of why
Okay.
this would be hidden in the
It's-
wall.
I know exactly why. Kill, I need you to gut this stuffed animal.
Kill
Can I
standing.
do a
feet.
culture on this?
Yeah, anyone who wants to do it could roll a culture on it. Maya, if you roll culture, you could take a +2 on yours.
All right, thank you.
I don't think
I
the
got a
stuffed animal
10.
needs a field dressing.
No, I tell you, there's drugs in these walls, and I bet they're in these stuffed animals.
So you're not gonna believe me, but I rolled all 3 6s.
Okay.
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 Believe him,
It's
Melissa.
that kind of night. Okay. Hey, everyone's cheating tonight. It's fine. It's fine. No worries.
I rolled an 8.
I got a
5. Okay. So those are rolls.
should
that-
Oh,
take penalties.
I'm at 21 total. If
Dr.
that,
T
if
still had a
that
touch.
makes a difference.
I mean, not really, because you'll get it all. So Maya, you very distinctly remember a while back. You don't remember it being as far back, obviously, as it realized. You think it was just like a couple weeks ago, but in fact, it was even longer than that. That there was a big time streamer in the Haven system that kind of got these trending when she did some streams when like she had these things kind of floating around in bathwater near her and like kind of decorating around, and it just became the rage. And it was just like this big trending thing that everyone had to buy them, and everyone had to buy them. And you have this vague memory of you all buying a bunch of them to then like resell or something like that, and like kind of distribute or something along those lines.
Space Beanie Babies.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And she's gonna realize that and be like, this is what I remember, but it feels stupid to say out loud. But I don't, because I don't know who we were planning on selling them to.
Maybe
Well,
like
I
now
mean-
you put them in your videos ironically or something. I don't know.
Or follow me on this. We got a lot of very soft cloth material here,
hmm
and we got a turtle living in space.
hmm
We use it to make Franklin and Harriet one giant fur turtle coat.
Who's Harriet?
Harriet is Franklin's sister.
Franklin's
two
growing a
turtles?
second head. No, it's just one turtle. It's another head.
What?
Franklin's in cryo with a second head. Maya, I think probably this was a really good idea that you had to make money with these things. And I know with everything that just happened, it feels like we just lost like a good portion of our lives that we don't even remember, and all other things seem trivial outside of that, and I'm still upset about that. But
Mm.
I think this was probably a really good idea that you had, and we could make
Thank
good
you,
money
yeah.
with this, and we could do things with that money.
Yeah,
that we
I need to
have.
check. I need to check my stream again. This is
Thanks for making a hole in the wall, Dr. T.
You know, these are generally healing tentacles, but every now and then they can be used for destruction.
That worked. That worked. We found it. We wouldn't have remembered that we put them there. So you just made us a whole lot of money.
Okay.
I don't
So-
need to gut this.
No, you still should. There might be drugs.
Didn't we
Ooh,
spend a bunch of
wonderful.
money on them? So we would be breaking even.
Yeah, if we destroy them, then we will have spent a lot of money and not made any of it back. I mean, cut one just to make sure we weren't trying to go into the drug trade, I suppose, because I can't freaking remember what we were doing.
Anyway, well, now that
Yeah,
I got
storm
my
the
Hey,
hat,
did the
Kill, rip it
Legion
open.
find these?
Say it again, Zatek. I didn't catch that.
As it, I just kind of look up and Staz, did the Legion find these?
No, Zatek, they did not. They found some of the other smuggling compartments and confiscated some of your contraband, but this one they did not find.
Cool.
Wait, what other compartments?
There are 7 smuggling compartments scattered about the posh Chad.
Okay. Where are they and what did they have in them?
And so he'll give you an inventory. Most of them were empty at this point, but a few apparently were kind of carrying some sort of experimental kind of chemical weaponry that you all apparently had purchased at some point in Alabaster, and perhaps were trying to find a way to sell it here and there. Those were confiscated, but they did not find this one.
So they found all the other 6, and this is the only.
Some of them were empty. This is the only one they didn't find.
Okay. That's pretty much all I was getting at. Is there any others
No. Okay,
He'll do
so
his best to sleight of hand the Beanie Baby that was handed to him.
there are a lot of them because there's literally dozens in this one crate, and you can see there's about a dozen crates. So you literally have hundreds, possibly thousands of these things.
Take one.
There's so many.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's gonna be hidden in that little the room with the chair.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So we'll say
At first,
at
I
this
thought
point,
they were alive, and I was very concerned.
No, no.
So I was actually
they're like plastic and squishy and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, you have all your equipment back, your weapons, your armor, your utility, all that stuff is back. Any sort of anything else that you would have purchased, all the items and stuff that you found while you were on Hypnos, you don't currently have those. You do have these 2 crates filled with big rocks. Dr. T, your eyesight's starting to come back to you now. You're seeing kind of blurry shapes. And then you see Zatek off to the side. You're kind of playing around and sort of digging into this strange orb that you found inside one of these blue-gray rocks. You found Franklin, who seems to be healthy, although now has a sister named Harriet. You have a new memeling pet, possibly, that's eating away inside Kill's quarters up in the turret. And named Goro too. You have bioluminescent plants that no one remembers growing and can blind you if you move them too fast. And now you have smuggling all these ducks, these rubber ducks, just so many rubber ducks. What do you guys want to do?
So Jita does want to use some of this travel downtime in meditation.
That's fine.
She definitely wants to kind of separate from everybody and wants to, if she has a stash of some type of drug that sort of helps to chill her out and helps with the meditation.
And
and
one
so
of the duckies.
she does want us.
Okay. All right.
I want to relay the thing that Satea said too about how they were on our ship and there was times where they were not in Sateas' view and might have been doing stuff to our ship that we don't know about. Get people to help me figure out all that because we got the list of where he lost track of them.
Okay.
All right.
What's everybody else doing?
I mean, my sight's coming back, so I could start trying to heal most of you.
Okay. Do one at a time. So one person goes in, gets some health, and then other people, then somebody else does. So we'll do this in a round. Who's the first who wants to get healed by Dr. T? We'll do it that way.
The text looking real rough, so I think he should.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the bad
Okay.
out of the way first.
Make the roll, spend a spare time point for the patch job. And that's fine.
Do we Can we do like before right now, or
Yeah, I'm not too concerned right now. This is a long period of time that you guys will be doing this, so we don't need to really break it down into like days or anything like that. So that's fine. So go ahead and rip the rolls, Dr. T.
Yep. I'm gonna guess since it's a tech, I'm gonna do biotech. That sounds appropriate for healing him.
I think that's what you did
Oh,
last
yeah.
time to heal.
I think it's fine. Yeah, for him specifically, he's a Chrome Zhou. I think that makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, 16.
16.
Okay, so we'll say normally you would get 3. I'll say with the unexpected consequence, take 4. So you take a 4th back.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's awesome.
All right. So while Zatek is taking his treatment from Dr. T, Maya, what are you doing in this time?
Checking my stream.
Okay.
Instantly.
So what I'll say is like the only thing you can really check right now is you can kind of look at your schedule of pre-planned postings. And because you don't actually have access to like the Haven stream, you guys are still in transit, and so you can't access like the Alabaster stream or the Haven streams or anything like that. But what you can see is that you have probably run out of pre-planned save streams about a month ago, maybe a little bit more. So there's been about a month to a month and a half of complete inactivity on the Divine Mocha channel, as far as you are aware, unless someone possibly hijacked it and has been putting streams or something like that on. But you're pretty sure it's been about a month and a half since you've since anything has been posted. But until you get to the Haven system, you won't see what like your numbers are or anything like that yet.
Okay. Do I have any way to put any videos up at this point?
You can record stuff, you can buffer it into the system, but until like you guys
I get to Haven and won't post. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
In that case, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend the time just sort of like working through a couple of different like vids that are gonna go up as soon as it becomes available to go up.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for sure.
Sweet.
Okay.
The other thing is that she is spending the time composing a note to Ajax to send when she gets on Alabaster. Or
Okay.
wherever there's a data shot.
Yeah. So there's probably a couple ways that you could get it to him, and it's sort of up to you. Like I would imagine at some point, like you know where you can send it to, and so you could potentially hire like a data hauler, or you can hire once you get back to like Alabaster, you can buy like space in the cache of like that data hauler to carry that message across the Cerberus. You could potentially also put like the same message on some kind of server or stream, like a private stream that you might have in Haven that only he and people you invite to might have checked. So there's a couple ways you might be able to sort of put it out there.
Okay.
But there's nothing so direct that it's just like a pure phone call. So
that's totally fine.
Yeah,
She's
exactly
just
how
spending
long
the time just composing that message very
Sure.
specifically, like making sure places and names are not like being very careful about what is said
Right.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
I like it.
Recording videos and composing it all like that.
I like it.
She's doing.
Type,
All right.
delete, type.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so Zatek and Dr. T are doing the healing. So Gita will come to you. What are you doing while Dr. T is tending to Zatek?
I am trying to like sort of do a little like training with my Farron to try to like sort of get something that seems like a circadian rhythm tracking, so that like this is very reactive to losing track of days, and it's like, and I know Twilinger and Farron don't communicate in words per se, it's more feelings, but it's kind of like hey, little buddy, you're in there and you can help me out. Like, everybody else just has themselves and they can get screwed by like brain nonsense, but like we can work together and we can prevent something like this from happening again to everybody else. So like trying to work on some type of like rhythm or cycle and like a awareness of like some of these things. So it's just a lot of meditation and being away from everyone and like just trying to kind of develop a bit of a vibe where if something like this were to happen again, that the Farron would be able to, kind of alert to kind of something being off or something being kind of discordant with like my sense of things and their experience of.
Okay. Let's call it a resolve
kind of a flavor
test. Yeah, I get you, but let's call it a resolve test because, like you said, like the idea of like the things that you're communicating are like kind of like even the passage of time, the concept of time itself is probably interpreted differently with Farron than it is with Twylanger. So even that concept alone is probably not as a hard thing to communicate just with pure feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the idea of like, betrayal or the idea of confusion, the idea of surprise, those are probably things that you might be able to get like those baseline emotions through. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Give us a resolve test.
That is that's a 10. So I am going to spend a grit to re-roll that. I have a -2 resolve, so I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be effective. But that's not a reason not to try. That's a 6 that time. So
that is
I'm
very
gonna
low.
I know. So I'm gonna audience do this one at a time and see if I can get something better here.
Wow.
And I can't. I just very first one I went from 2 to 1. So this is a whole lot of meditation time and a whole lot of frustration. And
Give your
say
crit
this.
rolls.
Yeah, it was great. No,
I used.
Okay.
I used.
All of it?
I first used a grit reroll and got worse, and then I used just an individual audience reroll and got worse. So I think this was not meant
I
to
think
be.
your Farron is. So the way I'm going to interpret this, if it's okay with you, I'm going to say that there is some discordance between you and your Farron, and that the things that you are trying to convey about like you're definitely being very controlling and being very anxious and like all of that's coming through, but you're also kind of getting that back from them, almost like they're mirroring it. And as you're sitting there going through this meditation, you have this moment where like a vision comes into your mind and you are on Hypnos again. And you can see the kind of cold pasture, like this grassland in front of you. And like you can see these sort of stalks of like blue-green grass and like little bits and like very dry and like little bits and flakes of like ice here and there. And you are in the same position you're in right now, cross-legged, arms, your hands upturned and resting on the insides of your knees. And you can see yourself, like you have this like third-person view of yourself. And you watch in the sky above you where there's this kind of grayish cloud cover, like a winter's day. And you see like this coursing of lightning through one of those clouds, but it's not like bright white or yellow. It has this sort of almost reddish, pinkish glow to it. And as you're, as we're watching, and as we're watching you like literally go through this meditation, it dawns on you that it is not like your perspective that you're seeing, but it's your Farron's perspective. Like they're actually communicating and they're watching as like this coursing up in the sky isn't lightning, but it seems like some kind of rift. And pouring out of that rift, you see very much the same kind of creature that you saw like kill, kind of chase away when you in one of those canyons. You see this wild Farron and all its sparkling glory kind of emerge out from this crease in it. And it kind of flies away here and there, but you're just continuing to say, like, just inert in this state of meditation. And like the Farron is like almost trying to kind of tug you in this direction, and you're just missing it. You're not sure if this is just like their way
of like calling you selfish, or if it's their way of trying to show you a memory that you haven't figured it out yet. But this is going through every time you close your eyes and you try to meditate. This is like repeating on loop for a bit. Okay. Kill. So Zatek is currently in med bay. Maya is off checking her and recording some videos. Jita is meditating. Kill, you got. What are you doing, buddy?
I mean, the big thing is obviously the armory needs to be in order. The turret room needs to be in order. You know, if this is over a span of some time, we set up the routine with like a little Pavlovian response to set the food at a certain time, do the same little sound, make that a normal little routine. Basically, Kill lives for the routine. And then the easier he can sink into that, the easier he can forget about all the other nonsense. And, you know, just like an ostrich in the sand, because that's what grown-ups do when they have problems. They ignore them.
That's the only way to survive. Give us a mechanics test. Give us a mechanics test as you spend time trying to repair and tidy up some of this stuff.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's 16.
Yeah, 16. Unexpected consequence is that you do this way faster than you intend, and you run out of things to do. And you're just like, shit. And like Maya's still in her room recording videos. Dr. T and Zatek are still in the sort of stasis chamber medbay. Jita is still meditating, and you can see the tiny little memling is actually responding quite well and being very, I mean, it's not like it's always been feral. It was domesticated. It just had a bad time, and it seems to be very calmly coming back to some sense of complacency, right? And you have nothing else to do. So what do you do with that empty time, Kill, to yourself?
Damn it. It's the only man who would hate free time. I guess you'll see Maya's trying to do her thing, and he doesn't know exactly like what's it, but she's made him help with videos before, so like, you know, do you need me to like hold the light or something, or just like, do you need a?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Here, hold my camera. Anyway, so Arctic 3, MK3. You know, it's got the micro batteries here and here, standard charging connections. When it's got a closed armor, it's got this really cool rebreather with rat scrubbers. And as she just like dives right in without missing a beat.
It's going to be the worst videos. They're going to be so out of focus, like off center. It's going to be the absolute
all
worst.
the wrong
You're going to have to redo every single one of these. Oh my goodness. Okay. Cycle back. Dr. T, did you do any extra rolls? How many more rolls did you need, Zatek, for your treatment?
At least 2 or 3 more.
All right, Dr. T, rip us another one. You can do a couple in a row too.
17.
Same deal. I'll say unexpected consequences. Take an extra one. So do another 4. 11's a fail.
Sweet.
That's a fail. You need to roll probably one of those ones if you can, or grit roll.
Yeah, I was gonna grit now. I thought grit was all of them.
So
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Grit that.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll re-roll that 6.
That's 6 you got. You can re-roll the 1. Yeah.
Come on. Just 1.
Oh no, that's a shame. Okay, so 3 more.
That's
How you
perfect.
looking? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say that's a couple days in travel.
Okay.
You guys, so it's a couple days in travel, but at a certain point, finally, Dr. T, you're pretty confident Zatek is a healthy big blob again.
Very good.
All right. So then, Dr. T, now that you're done tending to Zatek, what do you do with your time?
Well, yeah, there's kind of 2 things that I was thinking about doing on this flight. One was pre-planned and one was not. One is going to be introducing myself to Harriet.
Okay. So
getting them out, seeing how they're doing.
Sure.
Simple enough, easy enough to pop them out. You take out Franklin. You realize Franklin has grown a little bit. In fact, a little bit, not much. You being a doctor, you would be able to tell the difference. But to the naked eye, he probably hasn't grown too much. But he seems to have gotten a little bit bigger. And you can see this small head kind of growing. You see the eye, like an eye is kind of opening up here or there. You can tell that it's like almost conscious and moving about. Give me a medicine test as you look at this.
14.
Okay, 14. You notice a few things. You notice like there's all these little bumps around the neck area here and there. That now that you and you remember seeing these types of things, like you just figured it was just the skin bumps, abrasion, whatever. But you realize like one of them has sprouted into this head, and you start to maybe theorize that the other ones at some point may also sprout into heads.
That's so exciting.
So it's a question of when.
Yeah. Do we have any kind of like X-ray imaging stuff? I got a med tool kit. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? You have a medical workshop, so sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, then I absolutely will. My question is going to be is once Harriet gets large enough, does she break free of the host body, or is Franklin just going to have like 80 heads?
So I'll roll over your 14 and you have your workshop. So as you start studying Franklin and Harriet, from what you can tell from the x-ray, there does seem to be some kind of like primordial growth beneath the dermis where those bumps are, suggesting there is something growing there. It doesn't look like any of them are as far along as Harriet is, but you definitely can see what looks like almost like little embryos, like these little miniature embryos kind of forming. And there is nothing that you've identified so far to suggest there's going to be any splitting. Like, it doesn't look like Harriet is going to separate.
Gosh, Franklin's going to have so many heads. I am going to have to come up with so many names.
Okay.
So exciting.
Fantastic. Zatek, I'm going to check back in with you. One of the things you have been doing is you have been in between your treatments. You have been studying this orb. You spent you ran your electronics. You passed that. You spent your spare time point. Eventually, you do manage to figure it out, and you're going to get 1 knowledge point as a reward for doing so. And you realize that it is some sort of kind of programmed sonic array. It might be a musical instrument, it might not, but you realize as once you kind of figure out how it works, like these various little subsections of this honeycomb overlay are keys, and they play different notes, and then there's different ways where you combo them that kind of changes key, and so it'll go flat or it'll go sharp. And you realize after a while, and you just kind of let yourself go. Maybe you're just sitting there, recovering in the med bay while Dr. T is messing around with Franklin, and he's kind of in sort of a different section looking at the x-ray, and you're just there recovering, and you go idly, almost like it's a fidget spinner for a moment, and you realize you play a song. Like it's the first time you've played, and it just comes out of nowhere. And it's this kind of this soft little, almost lullaby. And you have this kind of memory that kind of comes into you now. That's like little flash of memory from when you were on Hypnos. Like you remember maybe a campfire, you remember a voice, you remember this, like the sound of that song being hummed, but you don't see like where it's coming from. You just see this like flicker of like the campfire, and on the other side of it there is a voice. It doesn't sound like Maya, it doesn't sound like Dr. T, it doesn't sound like Jita or Kill. It's some other voice, almost grandfatherly in some way, that kind of an older gentleman. But you know how to play it, and then there it is, just kind of moving here and there. What did you roll on your test? Was it on your electronics test?
15.
Okay. All right. And that is all you currently get from it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's check back in with Maya. We'll say you've spent a couple days. You've got a decent amount of backlog now filled up, ready to go. The minute, like you've talked to Tejas, and you're like, the minute the Tejas can connect with like the Alabaster streams, they're going to start uploading right away. You have them ordered. You know which one's going to post first. All that's set to go.
Perfect.
You've got draft 37 in your letter to Ajax, all ready to go.
Yes.
What does Maya want to do with some of her other downtime?
I really think that it's going to be being pushy with and I think generally she's like weirdly like she's a little moony and just kind of walking around the ship just kind of humming to herself and just like being moony about various things, even though like Ajax was like unmitigatedly cool, but and Kill said in that terrible like voice that he has that he cared about it, but still there was something. So she's gonna be real pushy with Kill about like what did they say to him and like what did Ajax say to him, and like Ajax is a vault agent, what? Like, so she's spending the time, whatever time Kill will let her, asking about what happened.
I mean, okay. And Kill will,
And I'm making sure to do this just you and me, so that like in case you were being cagey because everybody else was around, like that's no longer a factor.
You catch him avoiding you through like the most ridiculous task of like he can't find anything else to do, so he does what any moron would do, and he tries to train a cat. So he's like trying to like, all right, here, sit, and if he can't train a cat, but he's trying to. And that's his excuse for like when he tries to avoid difficult conversations, but you see through it easily.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The cat sits. It follows your command exactly as you tell it to. It just sits and it looks up at you, head turned.
You were the coolest animal ever.
Turns its head the other way this time.
I'm really picturing this as like the dad that didn't want the pet, but then ends up like like that. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, but so as long as if it's one-on-one, Kill will be very candid about anything.
Okay, so I imagine she walks in at some point with you sitting with the cat on your lap, so that you cannot move now until the cat moves.
Right. I'm so close. I almost have him shadow boxing. Like if I put up this hand, he'll swat at it. Yeah. Oh, look at this. He's a killer. Look at him.
This is so cute. I don't even care about my stuff anymore. I just don't watch this.
You see, it's like rapid punching, and then you see like its little echolocation stalks start to kind of spin around too at the same time. It's very capable. It seems.
This is so cool.
Go ahead, give me a resolve test there, Kill, for a second.
Oh no. Okay, I will.
Why does everyone say, "Oh no"? The opportunity of cool stuff.
Ooh.
I guess you just don't want cool stuff. It's fine.
That one. That is going to be really good. So that is 11, 15, 18.
18's excellent. You are sitting there and you are kind of while talking to Maya about all the things that you were sort of debriefed about. And you are kind of training this Goro Jr. How to shadow box, and you realize you have this sudden bout of vertigo or deja vu for a moment, and this memory, whoosh, this crystal memory. It's like
not foggy in the slightest. And you see yourself a young Legion, still kind of, you could see it's years ago, and you can see yourself kind of going through some various training techniques, like this hand-to-hand combats, advanced hand-to-hand combats. You can see yourself going through various like urban training, and you can see yourself in like classrooms studying various cultures and kind of learning how to interact with them. And all the while, like, it's kind of interspersed with this almost martial arts like kind of kung fu movie of you sparring with other Legion, one of whom you recognize eventually as like a young Ajax. And when you kind of come out of it, you realize, like, there you are kind of doing those same kind of moves on a much smaller scale with Goro Jr. And his echolocation stocks are just kind of still whipping around, kind of going crazy here and there. And it's a memory that you haven't had in quite some time. Like, it's like, where the hell did that come from? I haven't thought about that. And wait, did that even happen? Did I even do that? Like,
oh, whoa. I was just remembering, like, there was this one time there was like an armbar. Okay, put your paw out like this. Okay, I was showing Ajax how to do an arm. Oh my god, he's doing the armbar.
it's doing exactly what you tell him to do.
I was like playing with him, and like I had this cool memory thing, and like just like that little bit of a legitimate grin kind of curls up. Huh. Okay. So clearly now there has to be like the little blanket that gets laid down in the corner. Like now
it's you.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's see. Let's cut over. Let's see. We've got Zatek has been doing his thing. Dr. T, you've been studying. Franklin. Jita, what else are you doing with your time? You've meditated for a bit. Your Farron showed you something during that meditation. You've spent a couple days mostly away from. Obviously, you can't be completely separated from everybody on this small ship, but you've spent a significant amount of the time away from your travel mates. What are you doing next?
I would say often when we have downtime, Jita kind of sees what Zatek is up to, and just sees if, like, because we kind of have similar skills with things. So I think Jita would sort of pop in to see kind of what Zatek is up to and what have you there.
He's jazz orbing.
Mm-hmm. I'm body morphed, so I have extra fingers to play it. Messing around with the orb. There's a little instrument thing we found in the egg. And do you recognize this song? I'm gonna do the key presses to do that one song again.
And Jita, as he plays it, you kind of get a little woozy, and you have very much the same kind of image that Zatek has, which is just like this flickering fire, sort of in the darkness. You don't really see a whole lot to it. It's just that flickering campfire, but you hear like this grandfatherly sound, this hum of that tune that kind of comes to you.
Do you have another? There were a whole lot of them. Yes.
Songs, maybe, and then I'll keep trying to play other.
You can
things.
certainly play now that you know how to do it. You can play any song, really, but that was the only one that kind of came to your mind.
She's sort of asking, like, can I have one to play with?
And I'll let her mess with it.
Yeah, you only have the one orb. There are other rocks, like there were other of those that this thing was encased in. There's more of those in the cargo bay, but this is the only orb that was inside, and you only broke an open one anyway.
So she might say, "Oh no, you're working with that one. Let me see if I can open a different one."
Oh, okay.
Okay. And yeah, since you guys kind of figured out the trick between like where to smash it and like where the ledgers will say no roll necessary at this point because it's just a matter of time to do it. And you get one you try to get one that's they're all sorts of different sizes. Like you can see most of them. Like there's some that are a little big, some that are like the size of like a giant watermelon, others that are a little bit bigger, some smaller, such. And you find when you crack it open,
and you see stumbling out of it is something that you have seen before, in fact. Like, it seems familiar to you. And you've seen one of these nestled in the back of Franklin when you discovered him in that water facility. You've seen a few of these when you were in your weird hazy memories of Hypnos that were kind of built into those strange statues that you found off of the whirlwind. But you see some kind of data crystal. And when you hold it open, when you hold it kind of up to the light a little bit, you can see in it there is this like coursing bit of like astro navigational charge. Like it's a crystal. It's a data crystal of some kind. The tech is, not something that you would normally use, but you can definitely see that embedded within it there is some sort of display, like astronav display inside of it. You've looked at one of these before. You kind of know what these things are, and you also recognize that there are other rocks like in these crates that have like the same shape of the one that you just cracked open for this. And so we'll say like you kind of go through, you crack open the others, and you realize you have like a handful of these nav crystals in your hand. Like you can see like there's like, they're not even in your hand, like in your arms, like you're holding them, and there's like these big ones. Trying to count how many you have. At least 6 or so, maybe more. I have to look at my numbers.
And Gita's eyes just sort of get big. I thought finding one of these,
something like that, 10.
I thought finding one of these was just amazing, and now I've got so many more. Oh my gosh! I want to look at all of them, but now I want to know what's inside the rest. Do you want me to help you open the rest of them?
Sure. These are cool rocks.
Okay.
These are amazing. And so she's got a little bit of cloth or something that she sort of wrapped all of these up into, and they're sort of like around her waist is, almost like the apron that you fold up kind of a thing, that she's kind of like holding all of these and like,
okay,
let's open all of them. Let's open all of them. It's sort of like a Christmas morning kind of like, let's just like open everything.
Okay. So again, no problem. Anybody else who wants to be there is welcome to be there as well. This is all happening over the course of like probably hours. But we'll say you start opening them up. The first thing you open up after you get all those data crystals together is you see something that almost at first looks like a toy. It almost looks like a Rubik's Cube in a way, but instead of it being in a cube, it's more like in this honeycomb shape. And it's got these really intricate, like mechanical, or these mechanisms, like the engineering of it looks pretty fascinating. And it actually looks, once you start messing around with it, it looks probably too involved maybe to be a toy, and it is quite big. It almost looks in some ways, you're not sure if it's a toy or an engineering model, but it has that same kind of honeycomb shape that you've seen a few times. You crack it open another, and you find what looks like a data pad, and you kind of interface with it a bit. It's not a standard design data pad, one that like you would commonly use on your ship. It doesn't look like something of Corp design, doesn't look like Palantir design. You're not entirely sure. But again, you start messing around with it and you realize there's some kind of honeycomb interface again. Like you can see everything's kind of like, think of the way a keyboard's laid out for us, like in QWERTY style. And this is sort of instead laid out a different way. And it's often kind of laid out with these, like it's almost uncomfortable for anyone but Zatek. Maybe even Dr. T is okay to use it because like you have to like extend your fingers in these sort of awkward ways. And when you mess with this one, like this holographic interface pops up here and there, and it kind of almost pops out a little bit, and it starts talking. And like you can hear like these sounds, these voices come out of a language that probably you guys aren't horribly familiar with. You crack open another and another and another, and you find a bunch of really mundane things. You get a run of like super mundane stuff, but they all seem familiar in some ways. You find a hairbrush. Seems to be made of like bone, maybe. You find a necklace, Jita, maybe this one catches your attention, with all these little colorful crystals. You find a pair of what looks like furry slippers. All these things are like handcrafted. You find this carving / or like relief that's in a flat stone, and it depicts what looks like grassland and then stars over top of grassland. And it's all crudely like etched, like hand etched into this stone. And then you find a shank, basically, that looks like a large animal tooth with a little bit of like kind of leather wrapped around the handle. And then you crack open the last one, and you see familiar looking crystal coloration, kind of like what you remember from your time in the city on Hypnos. And you see inside this, and it's fairly big. It's about it's about maybe 3 feet or so in diameter. You can see inside is a severed head. And it is got the shape, at least, of what you all have come to conclude is like Mondian, this sort of tall, narrow head. And it's almost got like a quarter moon shape in a way, where like it's got a very pronounced chin and head, and like forehead kind of stick out in certain ways. You can see there's these tufts of brown gray fur. And as you guys are like looking at it, whoever is in the cargo bay, whoever's looking down at this like severed head, anyone looking at it, you kind of get this weird kind of vertigo moment, and you see this little memory pop up to you, and you see this face, this like kind of grandfatherly gray hair, tufts of gray hair on the side of the face, like looking directly at you, and this long, very long, sinewy finger comes out like this even longer sinewy arm, holds it to their mouth, and just does the shh to you. And then you pop back from that memory and you look down, and there is the head still severed and protected inside that crystal. And we'll go ahead and we'll end there for tonight, and we'll pick up in a couple weeks and see where you guys want to go with all this. Straight to hell, maybe? Who knows? Maybe
so many questions.
Me too.
It's going to become the island of Dr. Moreau up in here with Dr. T. It's going to be all sorts of these weird splicing DNA.
There's a bunch of fun gifts and then a severed head.
Yeah. What? How's that not fun? I think Dr. T would enjoy it very much. Are you kidding?
I agree.
I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I did forget to tell you that the Mondian Daydream did tell me that it put something in your data pad. That's okay.
Whoopsie. Listen,
Is
a lot
all
of
that
people
honeycomb stuff,
remember stuff.
like the honeycomb stuff when we were walking around, and that was a honeycomb too.
Oh.
I want to open.
I just
all
really
the
like
things.
honey. There's really nothing to it. I just enjoy honey. It's very sweet.
They're just beekeepers.
It's so funny. I spent a lot of time this afternoon prepping alabaster stations for when you guys get back to Haven. We haven't even got there. We'll get there next time. But I'm ready to go. It's pretty cool. Pretty excited.
There's so much cool stuff on the ship.
I have one little thing ready for Dr. T. I'm pretty excited about it. But we'll see how it goes in a couple of weeks. Okay. All right. So that's where you guys are at. You guys got your ship back. Zatek, you got your friend back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a second
It's in
head.
the ship.
You've got another pet. Jita, your Farron is very upset with you. It's always about you. That was basically that the image was. Oh, it's always about what you want. Okay.
It was a lot of blame and finger pointing, and you let me down, and there was a lot of like, because I feel like inside it's kind of like, oh, you're gonna be like that, huh? You're gonna feel like crap now.
It's only the second Farron you've pissed off. That's okay.
I don't know. There's 147 days of memories that we still get to go through.
And a Farron rift thing that she saw. So yeah.
Yeah, so one of the cool things I like about Fragged is that they leave, like they specifically built in like certain components where they specifically don't give you answers to things. Like what are Farron? Like that's not specifically answered. Like the Mondian species, for instance, a lot of that's just kind of like there's hints of it here and there, but like what they look like, what their culture is like, all that kind of stuff is really left for you. And I really like how like they put that space in. And some of it is like the origin of Farron, like where they come from. So I'm playing with that. Playing with the Mondian stuff, obviously. So I like that there's like space for you to kind of put your own little stamp on things. All right. But hey, you got your ship back. And it's gonna be great. You guys are gonna be fine. Just wait till you get back to the alabaster stations and you realize they've all been destroyed.
I gotta remember to get a heal next time. I was too caught up with all the exciting stuff happening that I forgot to get a heal.
There's plenty
We're
of
gonna
time.
get back to the
Heel
station, and this
schmeel.
is another hallucination, and we've just been playing with rocks the whole time.
I can't wait.
The shadow
I
boxing
can't wait.
cat was a lie too.
Oh, God, would that be
no,
awesome?
that would be heartbreaking.
Oh, goodness. You just see like Lawrence Fishburne just walks in and just says, like, do you want to take this pill or do you want to take that pill? This is whole time you've been in the Matrix or something.
This
Great.
This steak is delicious. It's my answer.
I mean, I could understand why he made the decision he made. Joe Palantonio, I think that's his name. Palantonio. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's do some closing plugs. We'll get on out of here. Let's start with Chuck and Joe and Dio. Okay, what's going on with Defenders, man?
Well, Wednesday, we've got our Night Below Dungeon Crawl Classics campaign. And then Friday, we're doing our, what is it? Oh, Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And then our YouTube has stuff and things. There you go.
Fantastic. Links and such in the descriptions if you're listening to this or watching this later. Maitre, where can we find you on the internet?
My YouTube also has stuff and things at Matthew Plays Games, where I make system agnostic or multi-system tip-top content that centers the GM playing space that you should check out if you want to check out.
Fantastic. I think Melissa got the link there. Perfect. As for us, we have more games this week. Tomorrow night, we should be back to Frontier Scum. You can see Melissa and I playing in an acid Western game that Steven is running. And we are wandering around with we're like water zombies or something. I don't know. It's weird. Just come watch it. It's fun. Thursday, you can see a few of us here playing through some Simbaroom, dark fantasy setting by good old Free League. Friday, Delta Green, new scenario, new agents, because I killed a couple last time around. So we got a new scenario. Very excited to get that going. It's been about a month since we played, so really excited to get back to it. And then Melissa and I started catching up on like Glass Cannon's Impossible Landscapes, and it's just like I'm getting so many flashbacks to when we were in it. I'm like, I want to run Impossible Landscapes again. I wish I could just like zap the memories of the players and just like run it again. Anyhow,
Drop us on Hypnos.
that's true. That was made up, like Hypnos isn't a real planet.
What?
Okay. And then finally, we'll say actually not finally. Saturday, we got Call of Cthulhu. We're doing Eternal Lies in Mexico City. And next Monday, we'll be back to Alien. And in 2 weeks, we'll have more Fragged Empire. And that's that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to rate Dork Tales as they are playing. I think it's just D&D. Looks like they're just playing D&D. So we're going to go ahead and give them a raid. Follow the raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later this week. Bye-bye.